8 ways to detach from someone without bitterness. Stoic philosophy. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." You know the feeling. 3 a.m., phone in hand, staring at a name you promised yourself you wouldn't text, replaying conversations, wondering where it went wrong, wondering if they think about you too. Your chest feels tight. Your mind won't shut up. You're exhausted, but you can't sleep because the ghost of someone who left is still sleeping in your head. Here's what nobody tells you. Detachment isn't about stopping love. It's about stopping suffering. It's not building a wall so high that nothing gets in. It's building a fortress so strong that if someone walks out, your foundation doesn't crack. The Stoics figured this out 2,000 years ago. They lived through exile, loss, betrayal, and death, and they still slept soundly, not because they didn't care, because they cared about the right things. If you're ready to take your power back and stop letting someone who left still control your days, drop "Building My Inner Fortress" in the comments below. Hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of this series. And stay with me until the end. The 8th way changes everything. Reclaim your projections. You don't actually miss them. You miss the version you built in your head. Think about it. When you miss someone, what do you miss? The way they made you feel? The inside jokes? The future you planned? The comfort of having someone? None of that exists anymore. It existed in a moment that passed, and you're carrying a corpse around hoping it will breathe again. Marcus Aurelius said, "Things have no hold on the soul. They stand there inert. Disturbance comes only from our internal judgment. The person is gone. That's a fact. The pain comes from your judgment that they shouldn't be gone, that they owe you something, that the story isn't finished. That's all internal. They're not doing this to you. You're doing this to you." Here's the practical move. Write 2 lists. First list, who they actually were, their actions, their choices, how they treated you, the times they didn't show up, the ways they failed you. Be honest, no romanticizing. Second list, who you wanted them to be, the potential you saw, the person you believed they could become, the promises you hoped they'd keep. Now look at both lists. You're not grieving the first list, you're grieving the second. You're sad that your imagination didn't become reality. But imagination isn't reality. It never was. Detachment happens the moment you stop mourning what never existed and start accepting what did. The person you loved was partly invented by you. You projected your own capacity for love onto them and assumed they had the same capacity. They didn't. They showed you that. Believe them. Every time you feel the pull of missing them, ask if I'm missing them or missing the movie I directed them in. The projector is in your head. You can turn it off. You can walk out of the theater. The film doesn't play unless you keep watching. 2. Stop interrogating the past. Your mind is a detective that never closes a case. You scroll through old messages looking for clues. You analyze their last words like scripture. You replay conversations trying to find the exact moment it shifted. You ask friends for their theories. You Google their name. You check their profiles. You're looking for evidence that will make it make sense. It won't, because closure isn't found in evidence. Closure is a decision. Seneca said, "We are tortured not by what happens, but by our thoughts about what happens." The interrogation is torture. Every time you search for answers, you reopen the wound. You're picking a scab and wondering why it won't heal. The wound heals when you stop touching it. Here's what you need to accept. People do things because they want to. That's it. There's no deeper mystery. They left because leaving felt better than staying. They stopped choosing you because not choosing you felt easier. They didn't communicate because silence served them. You don't need the play-by-play. You need to accept the final score. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. The past is changed. It's done. Your thoughts about it right now are making your present life either peaceful or painful. You choose which." Try this. When you catch yourself interrogating the past, say out loud, "I don't need to understand. I only need to accept." Understanding is a luxury. Acceptance is a necessity. You can spend years trying to understand why someone did what they did, or you can spend that energy building a life so good that their reasons stop mattering. The case is closed not because you solved it. The case is closed because you stopped being the detective. You resigned. You walked off the force. Let someone else solve the mystery. You have a life to live. 3. Bind your borders, not their behavior. Most people get detachment backwards. They try to control how they feel about the other person. They fight their emotions. They tell themselves to stop caring. They try to kill the love. That's resistance, and resistance creates suffering. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Notice he didn't say stop feeling things. He said your reaction is what you control. Feelings are automatic. They're weather. You can't stop rain. You can decide whether to stand in it with no umbrella or watch it from your window. Detachment isn't about not feeling. It's about not being controlled by feeling. You can still care about someone and not let them destroy your peace. You can still love someone and not let them occupy your mind all day. The feeling exists. You just don't let it drive. Here's where borders come in. You don't get to control their behavior. You never did. You don't get to decide if they text back, if they miss you, if they regret leaving, if they're happy without you. That's their territory. Stay out of it. Your territory is your mind, your time, your energy, your attention, your peace. That's your sovereign land. You've been letting them wander through it whenever they want. They show up in your thoughts uninvited and you host them. You make tea. You offer a seat. You let them stay. Stop hosting. When a thought about them arrives, you don't have to kick it out violently. That's still engagement. Just don't invite it in for a conversation. Let it knock. Let it stand on the porch. It will eventually leave when it realizes you're not answering. Your border patrol is your attention. Every time you choose to focus on something else, you have denied entry. Every time you catch yourself spiraling and redirect to a task, you have strengthened the wall. Build it thought by thought.
4. Refuse to make them your mission. When we lose someone, we often make them our project. We want to understand them. We want to fix what went wrong. We want to prove we were worthy. We want to show them what they're missing. We want closure. We want answers. We want them to see our growth. We want them to regret leaving. This is not healing. This is ego in a trench coat pretending to heal. If this is landing, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe right now. Drop "Building My Inner Fortress" in the comments if you haven't yet. This is the kind of thinking that separates people who stay stuck from people who build fortresses. Now let's keep going. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." In this case, the enemy isn't them. The enemy is your obsession. When you make someone your mission, you become their mission field, your tilled soil waiting for their return. And if they never return, you're left barren. Think about how much energy you've spent thinking about them, planning what you'd say if they came back, imagining scenarios where they apologize, fantasizing about running into them and looking amazing. That's not detachment, that's attachment with extra steps. Here's the truth. They are not your mission. Your mission is you, your growth, your peace, your future, your health, your purpose. They are on their path. You are on yours. Those paths crossed for a while. Now they don't. That's okay. It doesn't mean one path was wrong. It means the intersection ended. Every time you catch yourself making them your mission, ask, who is serving whom here? If I'm spending my mental energy on them, who's spending energy on me? Oh, right, nobody, because I'm too busy doing their emotional labor to let anyone else in. Stop solving them. Stop studying them. Stop tracking them. You are not their biographer. You are the author of your own life, and you've been stuck on the same chapter for way too long. Turn the page. 5. Separate loneliness from loss. Here's a question that will save you months of pain. Do you miss them, or do you miss having someone? Be honest, because those are two different things that feel exactly the same. Seneca observed, "We are never so easily deceived as when we are alone." In the quiet, the mind fills silence with echoes. You hear their voice, you remember their laugh, you feel the empty space beside you, and your brain translates that emptiness into missing them specifically. But maybe you just miss connection. Maybe you miss being known. Maybe you miss someone to tell about your day. Maybe you miss touch. Maybe you miss the feeling of being chosen. And since they were the last person who gave you those things, your brain assumes they're the only person who can give them again. That's a lie your survival instinct tells you. Your survival instinct hates change. It wants everything to stay the same because same feels safe. So when something changes, your brain tries to restore the old pattern. It tells you that you need that specific person back to feel okay again. You don't. You need connection. You need belonging. You need love. Those needs are real, but they're not tied to one person. They're human needs that can be met in countless ways. Here's the practical test. Spend a week not thinking about them specifically. Instead, notice when you feel lonely. When does it hit? Morning? Evening? Weekends? What are you actually craving? Company, conversation, physical warmth, validation? Once you identify the actual need, you can start meeting it in healthy ways. Call a friend, join a group, start a hobby that involves other people, volunteer, get a pet, and most importantly, learn to sit with yourself without numbing the discomfort. The loneliness isn't proof they were the one, it's proof you're human, and humans can connect anywhere. Don't trap yourself in the past just because it's familiar. The future has people you haven't met yet who will make you wonder why you ever begged someone to stay. 6. Practice the stranger exercise. Here's a visualization that rewires your brain. Imagine you're meeting this person for the first time today. You don't know their history. You don't know what they owe you. You don't know what you hoped they would become. You just see them as they are, right now, in this moment. Would you be impressed? Would you feel lucky to have them in your life based on who they are today? Would you invest your time and energy in building something with this person based on who they are today? Most of the time, the answer is no. But we stay attached because we're loyal to history. We're loyal to the investment we already made. We're loyal to the version of them that existed before things went wrong. That's called the sunk cost fallacy. It's why people stay in bad relationships, bad jobs, bad situations. They've already paid so much that leaving feels like wasting what they paid. But here's what the Stoics knew. You can't change the past by staying in it. Every day you spend attached to who they were is a day you're not available to who you could become. Seneca said, "It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." You're wasting time on a stranger, because that's what they are now, a stranger who shares some history with you. That's all. Try this. When you think about them, replace their name with "the person I used to know." Say it in your head. I wonder what the person I used to know is doing. I miss the person I used to know. It creates distance. It reminds your brain that the person you knew doesn't exist anymore. They've changed. You've changed. You're strangers now. And that's okay. You don't owe strangers your peace. You don't owe strangers your sleep. You don't owe strangers your tears. They're strangers. Treat them that way. 7. Build something they couldn't destroy. Bitterness comes from feeling like something was taken from you, but nothing was taken. You gave it, and now you get to choose where to invest that giving energy next. If you're finding value here, drop "Building My Inner Fortress" in the comments if you haven't yet. This is the kind of thinking that separates people who stay stuck from people who build fortresses. Now let's keep going. Seneca wrote, "Life is long if you know how to use it." Are you using your life to replay old tapes, or are you using it to build something? The person who walked away doesn't get a say in what you build next. They don't get a vote on your happiness. They don't get a seat at the table of your future. They forfeited that right when they left. So build something they couldn't destroy, something that has nothing to do with them, something that exists entirely in your world. A skill, a fitness goal, a creative project, a garden, a community, a peaceful morning routine, a body that feels strong, a mind that feels sharp. Pour the energy you were wasting on them into something tangible, something you can touch, see, measure, something that grows because you water it with your attention instead of watering dead plants in a garden they abandoned. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." So think about what you're building. Think about who you're becoming. Think about the person you'll be 6 months from now if you redirect every ounce of attachment energy into self-construction. That person is impressive. That person doesn't check profiles. That person doesn't wonder what they're doing. That person is too busy becoming someone their past self wouldn't recognize. Be that person. 8. Become a question mark, not a period. Most people want the story to end neatly. They want a period, a final word, an apology, a confrontation, a moment of closure that ties everything in a bow. But life doesn't give periods, it gives question marks, and question marks are open doors. Marcus Aurelius said, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." If your story with them ended, that's just one sentence in a very long book. You don't close the book because one sentence ended. You turn the page, and the next page starts with a question. What now? Most people stay stuck because they want answers about the past. The wise get curious about the future. They become question marks instead of periods. They stop demanding that the past makes sense and start exploring who they can become. Who are you without them? What do you actually like? What do you want? What excites you? What scares you? What have you been putting off because you were too busy managing them? Who would you become if you stopped checking their temperature and started checking your own? These questions are your compass. Follow them. Detachment without bitterness is not forgetting, it's forgiving yourself for staying as long as you did. It's trusting yourself to leave when you should. It's knowing that some people are lessons, not lifetime subscriptions. It's accepting that they served a purpose in your story, and now that chapter is over, and that's okay, because the book is still being written. You are the author, not them, not fate, not the past. You. And authors don't beg characters to stay. Authors write new characters into existence.
Practical takeaway. Here is your mission this week. Every time you think about them, pause and ask one question. Is this thought building my fortress or letting their ghost wander through it? If it's the ghost, visualize a gate closing. See it in your mind. Iron bars, heavy lock. Ghost stays out. You stay in. If it's the fortress, take one small action toward your own growth. Read 5 pages of a book. Do 10 push-ups. Write one sentence about what you want next. Text a friend you've neglected. Go for a walk without your phone. Sit in silence for 5 minutes and just breathe. Small actions compound. A fortress isn't built in a day. It's built brick by brick, day after day, choice after choice. Every time you choose yourself, you lay another brick. Every time you choose peace over obsession, you mortar it in place. You are not losing them. You are losing the weight of carrying them. Put it down. Walk lighter. Build higher. If this spoke to you, drop "Building My Inner Fortress" in the comments. Like this post, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear that their fortress is waiting to be built. Stay with me, because we go deeper every time.
Quote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Marcus Aurelius.